Social media is a good thing. It's been something that allows us to express our opinions and to be creative. Some censorship is good for social media to prevent misinformation and disinformation. I would like to think about it in my perspective, perhaps a game of tennis. We want to have just enough rules in a game of tennis so that it can be enjoyable for everyone, whether the player or the audience. And the same thing applies in social media.
Censorship represents regulation, it represents policies, and by definition, policies are not scalpels, they are hatchets. What exactly is social media, right? So we're talking about something that is used by 5.5 billion people around the world. Social media incorporates everything from quick text messaging, WhatsApp, WeChat, all the way up to more complex forms of information provision and sharing like YouTube. This one-size-fits-all approach that censorship represents, especially on something as global as social media, is dangerous. It's dangerous, it's costly, and it's fundamentally untenable.
Now, at an individual, community, national, or even global level, there have been instances where disinformation and misinformation have caused a lot of harm. We've seen it, where disinformation has completely sabotaged the democratic process. Individual lives can be also affected. Back in 2020, there was a young nurse from Indonesia who was accused of faking her COVID diagnosis. And this went viral on social media. She was so affected that she took her own life. I would really just want to push for the motion that some censorship will do us a little bit more good in social media.
If you have something that is objectively viewed as being unacceptable, objectively viewed as being misinformation or disinformation, there should really be no question about pulling it out. When you talk about something that is used by 70% of the world across different jurisdictions, across different languages, across different cultural norms, across different attitudes to free speech, how do we know what is objective? When it comes to social media, we don't have the benefits of objectivity. What was unacceptable 10 years ago might turn out to be acceptable today and may not be acceptable in 5 years from now.
Platforms are already moderating content at scale. Black markets and polarization already exist. They thrive on unmoderated, radical echo chambers. We don't stop policing just because crime still exists.
My answer would be there are two things potentially we could do, neither of which actually have to deal with censorship. The first is education. Misinformation thrives because people are not educated, right? The second is use technology itself. So we essentially develop technologies that will flag information, that will provide additional information about whether certain pieces of information can be verified. That can be done at scale, right? So I don't censor, I don't pull out, I don't force you to delete. I just add information that tells you what that information represents.
I think in theory, I agree with what Prof had said, that there is no one size fits all. On the other point about education and AI flagging, using technology to flag out as better than censorship, my counter would be that I think we need both prevention and protection. I see education as something that's longer term as well, with long-term benefits. We're playing defense while people are already getting hurt if we rely only on education. Flagging doesn't work when users don't care. It doesn't work. In fact, users sometimes maybe would subscribe to it even more and enjoy the gossips, the rumor mill, and enjoy the entertainment. Just because systems are not perfect, it doesn't mean we don't try to implement rules and boundaries that could help it get better.
Okay, it's a fair point. If you think about large-scale social media and you want to come up with a censoring approach, who would essentially devise the censoring model? Like, would it be the government? Would it be the platforms themselves? Would it be, international bodies like the Red Cross or the UN? Who would actually come up with these censorship rules and who would implement them? Who would actually be the legal authority that imposes them on the average user in social media?
The short answer is everyone. In fact, it goes in tandem with your argument that there is no one-size-fits-all, so everyone needs to get involved. In my industry, in the tech industry, we often practice public-private partnerships. And of course, there are global differences that can be managed as well. We've seen it happen already with data protection, with privacy, with piracy, right? We're talking about GDPR, HIPAA, these are just some examples. It can be overcome. But just because it's not an easy road doesn't mean we don't embark on that journey.
My response to that would be, if everyone is doing it, essentially that means nobody is doing it. The problem is that most social media exist in the public domain. They are essentially the equivalent of the public square today, right? So if you go to London and you go to Hyde Park, there are places where people can stand up on a box and say the damnedest things in the world. Essentially, that is social media. You will find people who will say the wrong things, and you will find people who will say objectionable things. And part of the definition of a public square is that you have to be able to tolerate, you have to learn how to look away. You don't have to look at everything that is there on social media. I agree with privacy and piracy. I think these are great examples where some amount of regulation, like the GDPR, like HIPAA, have been implemented. But I would also argue that privacy and piracy are way more easily defined.
I'm also hearing you say that people should be free to decide, to listen to that, be free to decide for themselves when to look away. But I must say that the topic for today is social media. Standing in person physically on a box at a public square is quite different from an online content that could easily go viral today. There is this MIT research that actually said that falsehoods spread 6 times faster. So when a lie gets 10 million views and a correction much after because of AI flagging, and if anyone bothers, gets 10,000, I think the conclusion is clear that the damage has been done.
I agree that lies shouldn't travel faster and that the truth should prevail. If anything, you're right. I think social media tends to exacerbate it because of the volume. But social media also does a lot of good. So my argument is on multiple levels. One, it's debatable whether it is something that one should do. Two, even if you choose to do it, it's too complex. And three, even if you choose to do it at a level of complexity that matches the baseline complexity of the context, you're still going to fail. So why bother? Instead, spend that time and energy in other ways. Allow people to educate themselves. Allow for different ways in which technology itself can help address the battle.
At Nanyang Business School, we go beyond the debate. We prepare you to innovate at the intersection of business and technology. Nanyang Business School, where debate meets discovery.